Just a quick update for week 4, part 1's recap. I have 4 main areas that I want to go over. And the first one is the culture project. I just have finished grading all of your culture projects today, and anyone who submitted after the due date, I may have missed you. I'll have to go back and check that again. But anyone who submitted by the due date, your grade is in. It's in D2L. I want to make sure that you read the comments I posted, though, with your grade. I took a lot of time to read through them, and overall, everyone did a fantastic job. Not only did you do a fantastic job with the lesson plan, but your participation on Facebook, really cheering each other on and finding the positives was great. Many of you had lesson plans that matched the instructional strategy that you chose and also had standards that were aligned, but there were some lesson plans that needed tweaking when it came to the procedure or the objective or the assessment. For the most part, no one really lost many points for this because I wasn't looking at how well you were writing a lesson plan. I was looking at your cultural adaptations. But this next lesson plan project that's coming will be assessing your entire lesson plan in more detail. So if you go back to D2L and read the comments on your own specific lesson plan, it should help you when you're writing the lesson plan 1, because I gave a lot of suggestions that you should be able to apply to your next project. And again, keep up the good work. Everything that was turned in on time was done very well. Moving on to that lesson plan 1 project, I just wanted to remind you that the lesson plan that you're doing for lesson plan 1 is different than the modified plan we used last week for the cultural project. The cultural project did not have all the components that the traditional hack lesson plan format includes. So make sure when you're planning this week that you include all areas of the lesson plan. And again, look at that rubric to make sure that you have everything that you need for your points. Also, I wanted to let you know that Hack has not updated the links on that lesson plan format page to match the curriculum alignment and standard area of the plan. What this means is if you have trouble and you click on the link to take you to the video support, you will not get an updated version just in those areas. So if you do need help in the curriculum alignment or writing standards and objectives, please watch the video that I posted on D2L for using the Pennsylvania SAS website. It does use the new website, and I went through and I made that at the start of our culture project. You didn't have to do the curriculum alignment completely for that project though. So if you need an update, make sure you're using my video and not the video link that's on the template. The only thing I want to revisit for our recap is phonics. Overall, your participation this week was great. We had a lot of little activities though that helped you find out if you are proficient in phonics, and gave you a lot of new vocabulary that sounded very similar. And I know some of you expressed that you were worried because you didn't learn to read using phonics and you had a hard time differentiating between both the skills and the vocabulary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a few resources on Facebook and also put them in the presentation folder on D2L. And they are going to be what I would call a crash course in phonics. It identifies and labels some of those main concepts of phonics that you may have struggled with in our video this week. These are directly from Pinterest. I didn't create them, and I will say they're not perfect, but they're definitely better than nothing. If you need more resources, go to Pinterest and type in phonics, and you'll get all kinds of posters and resources that teachers are using in their classrooms, and that may help you learn as well. So again, they'll be on Facebook and they'll be in D2L if you want to find them and pin them. And I just wanted to remind you about the 3 main vocabulary words that are important to understand as we go forward. First of all, we have phonemic awareness, and this is where we're looking at sounds, not letters. and we call those sounds phonemes. And you can identify them, you can delete them, you can manipulate them, we can segment and blend them, but we're not putting letters on the page. We're just using the sounds and our auditory activities. Now, as soon as you start naming these letters and showing a visual, it becomes phonics. So that's the only difference between phonemic awareness and phonics. Phonemic awareness is auditory, where phonics is auditory and visual. So phonics is sounds and the letters, and we call this phonemes and graphemes. Now, all of that is encompassed under the big umbrella of phonological awareness. So phonological awareness is sounds or phonemes. It is graphemes. And also under that big umbrella are two areas that don't fall under phonics or phonemic awareness, and that's hearing syllables and also naming the letters, which you have to do to have phonics, but the actual skill of naming the alphabet letters is phonological awareness or letter recognition. It's not part of phonics or phonemic awareness. I know this is confusing, and I will be quite honest with you that there are many teachers out in classrooms that couldn't tell you the difference in these, and they're still successful at teaching it. So don't get too wrapped up in the vocabulary. I want you to have the basics, but the more you think about it, probably the more you'll confuse yourself. So take it for what it's worth, review it once or twice, and then really those resources that I will put on Facebook and D2L will help you with the functional part of phonics and phonemic awareness. Also, remember the websites that I showcased last week for phonemic awareness, the fcrr.org, readingresource.net, and I think there was one more, I can't remember off the top of my head. But those are great places to go to learn more about all of these categories. You can go there and learn what is phonemic awareness, what is phonics, and how do I go about teaching that. Those are great resources. So I will leave you with that. If you have any questions, let me know. And I look forward to our week coming. Again, just a heads up, I put this in the news already, but week 4, part 2 is going to be a big one. And again, I apologize. There's nothing I can do to get all the content in 7 weeks, but to put these 2 weeks together. Remember, not all of your participation is required this week, and make sure you watch that direction video for week 4, part 2, because it addresses exactly what is required and what is not required for the week.